And so we arrive yet again, Alyssa, to our camaraderie question of the week. And in the spirit of our 80s theme, so I'm a child of the 80s. I'm about to turn 44. And so my answer to this question is going to be very 80s. Camaraderie question of the week is a question that we ask to our teams so that people can find things in common with each other. We know that when you give people the opportunity to find things in common with each other, we nurture camaraderie. So our camaraderie question of the week is this. What toy most defined your childhood?
I have a prop, Joe. And so for those of you who are listening, anytime you'd like to jump on over to the YouTube channel and watch, this will be a nice little visual for you. I'm going to hold it up and see if Joe can guess what this is, if he can see. Oh, yes. There we go.
If you're not watching, she just held up Rainbow Bright. Is that a plate?
It is. It's a little metal plate. And I even have a little cup here. Okay.
Ooh.
But this was part of a larger set of dishes and pots and pans of my childhood that I spent hours out in the front yard in the flower beds, making the most beautiful, delicious mud pies that were ever to be had in the kitchen of Rainbow Bright dishes and pots and pans. It was the biggest memory I have from childhood is putting on my own little cooking show with my Rainbow Bright dishes.
Now, were other family members involved, either as guests or playmates in that Rainbow Bright memory?
Absolutely not. No. It starred me, for me. It was all about me.
So what appealed to you about it? Was it the tea set or was it Rainbow Bright?
Okay. So it was definitely not like the whole tea thing. It was more about the functionality of being in control of this was whatever I wanted to make. And I would sprinkle it with pine cones and like it was the whole process of being creative. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked Rainbow Bright, but I'm not even sure I remember like the shows or anything. I think I did have like a Rainbow Bright doll and all, but it could have been like, Alf and dishes. And I would have probably had the same like kinship to it maybe.
So you got lost in the creativity that was spurred by the playset.
Yes, indeedly.
In your imagination.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that you still have it. I don't have any of the toys from growing up.
This is, this and purses are like my thing. Like that's what I grew up with. Like these are the only things that I still have, and they sit on my son's bookcase. He's not really that into Rainbow Bright, and I'm okay with that.
He's not making mud pies with the Rainbow Bright stuff in the front yard?
Oh, I'm not letting him take these outside. These are mine.
Maybe you're making the mud pies in the front yard and you're inviting him.
Maybe that's what it is.
A throwback to the good old days.
I can't wait to hear yours because you had to have been such a creative, imaginative child, and I can only imagine what the toys that you found pleasure and entertainment in.
Okay.
Tell me.
My childhood was defined by one toy above all others. And here's what's funny is I didn't bring it with me. I didn't bring a prop with me. And I didn't realize that or even think, hey, I should hold it up, on our video episodes here on YouTube or show it to you. But guess what? It's here with me all the time.
Oh my God.
So if you are watching on YouTube, in the background of my BossBetter set is Optimus Prime. And I was a Transformers nut. So I grew up running home from like third and fourth grade, and turning the TV on and watching the Transformers cartoon show back in
Yes.
like 84 and 85, and became obsessed with the Transformers. And because the Transformers really are it's a pretty clear good versus evil kind of story. The Autobots are the good guys. They want to protect the sanctity of human life. They defend the weak and powerless. And the
From the
Decepticons are the
Yeah.
bad guys. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have been a fan of them my whole life. I don't have a lot of the toys from when I was a kid. I wish I did. Many of them are they're worth something now. I remember I always asked for Transformers for every holiday, every birthday, every Christmas. I remember one year for Easter, I left the Easter Bunny a note that I wanted a Transformer in my Easter basket. And when I got up on Easter Sunday and I found my basket, there was a Transformer in it, and I thought I had cracked the code. Oh, you gotta leave a note. I was convinced as a kid that I had figured out the cheat code to getting exactly what you wanted on Easter morning. And so I remember so clearly the next year leaving another note and asking for something specific, and I didn't get that. And I was like, something is broken with the world. I don't know why it didn't work this time.
You know what that makes me think of is, can you say something is broken in the world? Like the reality of a show like the Transformers, and what you said was good versus bad, very clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no gray in that world. And you had utter clarity when it surrounded that show, and what you needed, what you got. You just did this, and the instant it became a little less clear, that's whenever it was like, wait, something is wrong with the entire world now.
Yes. We
The
like that as
balance-
kids, don't we? We like clarity and an understanding of how the world works, and when that is called into question in some way, the ground is shifting underneath our feet, and we are unsteady.
Isn't that like, whoa? I mean, we're talking Transformers and Rainbow Bright here, but oh my goodness, people, if we think about this, the world is off balance, because right now, the good versus the bad, all of these things, we would love to be able to put it all into those nice, neat little categories, right?
Yes.
But that's not the way humanity works.
You know, it's funny because what I remember about growing up at that time is that there were two dominant toy brands, Transformers and G.I. Joe. And as a boy, as a kid, you were either a Transformers kid or a G.I. Joe kid, right? And I was a Transformers kid. And one of the other friends I had in the neighborhood, he was a G.I. Joe kid. And so we'd get together and play. And but they're both under the same construct, right? G.I. Joe versus Cobra, right? Good versus evil, fighting to protect values and the weak versus taking over the world and in pursuit of power. These are the same constructs that exist in kids' shows everywhere, right? In all the superhero stories and all the comic books. And it's interesting to think about that way, that in a way we're helping create easy constructs for kids to gravitate toward to understand the world around them. They may not always be accurate, but as a starting point for development, it's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah. I think that's so true, is that, it may not always be accurate. It's 99 times out of 10, as we are now faced with every day. A lot of it is in the gray. There's not just like this versus this. And the instant you call this bad or this side evil or whatever, then we got a whole other different side of problems that we got to deal with. But we got to start somewhere. And childhood is the great equalizer where we get to say, yeah, this was good. And I believed in it, and it did this for me. And I love the Transformers too, but Rainbow Bright's where it's at, man.
And that's our camaraderie question of the week.